Hi, it's Paul Baxendale, and here with you today with some inconvenient truths. I think that I've given my perspective on philosophy and on life through the lens of Stoicism to some degree, at least to the degree where I feel that I can now allow myself the freedom to speak of some of the inconvenient truths that I've learned through my years. Inconvenient truth number one. Society in these past 100 years or so has directed or dictated to us that the most important thing in our lives is us, or at least our happiness. Now, more recently, this has taken the form of many different endeavors: work, sport, recreation, such as bodybuilding, with its almost 24-hour-a-day focus on eating, training, and on self, irregardless of whether or not we compete or not, irregardless or not of whether we were born with the genetic gifts to perform at a high level or not and make a living from the sport. Indeed, telling us all that it's a healthy lifestyle, well, we all know that in all-inclusive bodybuilding lifestyle is anything but healthy. Whether or not it's the abuse of food or of performance-enhancing drugs, very often creating an obsession and identity crisis, resulting in many bodybuilders being mentally unable to give up their size, their overly muscular body, no matter how muscular and how lean, it's still putting the body under stress on our hearts and on our organs. But mainly, and this is what I see day to day in clients and in all gyms, those people who in their late 40s, 50s and 60s cannot psychologically cope with the loss of their gorilla suit, as Bob Paris so aptly put it. Natural bodybuilding too. Now, obviously that's a lot healthier, but when it's taken to the extreme of competing, and 99.9999% of them will never make any income from the sport to support themselves or a family, what are their family and children missing out on? And what for? Their own identity, self-image, ego, fears of taking on the responsibilities of the world? Yes, I know this may upset many of you there, but what would you prefer? My truth or my silence or my lies? If you are in your 40s, 50s and 60s or more and are still using anabolics for anything but TRT, and I mean real TRT doses, not 500 milligrams a week and the occasional little cycle, and you have a family, then your priorities are completely wrong and you need to seek help. If you're single, then you're hurting no one but yourself in doing what you do. But don't believe the echo chamber that you've created of your social media, who are telling you in your 50s or 60s, oh, you're incredible, keep going, still huge, big man. Or if you've had a health complaint and you still carry on this lifestyle and you're still being given that echo chamber of keep going, you're awesome. What's more important? If you have a family, your family must be more important. As the quote says, anyone can be a father, but it takes a strong man to be a dad. And the Stoics, what did they say? Kinship with others and loving and providing for our family are some of the greatest virtues we can possess. The most important thing in your lives is your family. Your wife, if you have one, your children, if you have them, should always come first. And if you doubt my words, why don't you ask your children? Ask your wife, what would they want of you? Quantity or quality? But sadly, that's not on the table either, because you'll see that they actually want both quality and quantity of time. Why has the human species lasted for millennia? Because apparently we've been so smart that we've managed to ensure that our DNA and our genes were passed from one generation to another. And for sure, life is more than that. But we can't ever forget that our children are the holders of our DNA. And their being parented by a mother figure and a father figure is the most important element that will ensure their healthy physical and mental development. So if any of this describes you and you feel offended, welcome to the inconvenient truth. And why don't you think hard about what you should be doing to make amends to your children? Children, especially until they are adults, and there's always a chance for making amends. They need you. Your obsession with how you look, how big your muscles are, whether you use the excuse that the gym keeps you mentally sane, it's all bullshit when compared to what your children can give you. And if you have decided or are unable to have children, then understand that sadly, that's the end of the line for your genes. Now, through environmental reasons, food, physical reasons, not all people can have children. And that's a situation that's getting worse year by year. And my heart goes out to you. But if it's your choice, then again, my very best wishes for your life. But being alone when you're old and have no family around you is often not a situation or a vision that I think is often considered when some people decide whether to have children or not. And it's not one that sounds like my picture of the best old age that I can imagine. Now, don't think for a minute that I'm pointing fingers here, because I was that selfish bodybuilder. I was that selfish gym owner. I was that selfish man who pursued a spiritual journey, focusing so much within and determined to develop myself a road to enlightenment. To be fair, there was a time in my life when it did save me from death. But there came a time when I saw it for what it was. A selfish self-obsession once again on me. I was wrong. I had my priorities wrong. My family and my children come before anything. And believe me, bodybuilding isn't the only distraction that this world has tried to distract us with, to stop us doing what's best for our futures. It'll make you think that's what governments have always wanted to do, but maybe that's a bit conspiratorial, isn't it? To ensure that you have independent, strong, critical thinking, secure individuals with strong family ties. What about the surge in the world of spirituality that has engulfed us these past 60 years, from the era of free love to today's self-growth and search for spiritual enlightenment? Is this not too a distraction from the very thing that we should be focusing most of our energies and thoughts and emotions on? Don't be caught up in this social media world of spiritual self-growth where you can end up realizing that it's too late to even have a family, that as a woman especially, your ability to have children gets more and more difficult, and yet therein lies the ultimate prize of existence, the creation of another miracle of life. And it is your task, your job, and your privilege to do the best job possible to raise them up to become well-adjusted, happy individuals, hopefully producing families themselves and ensuring your DNA goes on for generations. Again, I speak from first-hand experience, and if it wasn't for a life transformative night with psilocybin, then I may still be reading tome after tome of self-growth and development books. As many religions and even spiritual people accept, the answers are always inside of you already. And yes, I will share my experiences with psilocybin with you in a video at some point, as it changed my perspective and focus on many things in life in a positive way. But trust me, it comes with a warning. You don't do or take psilocybin for kicks. Don't think that you're going to have a great party night. I don't believe that the plant, the mushroom, was given to this planet for that reason. It was given to us for deep spiritual and life learning truths that, in studying various research papers, results in very similar outcomes for each individual, although highly unique for each one, obviously. So in closing then, wake up to your reality in life. Wake up to your truly important priorities and responsibilities. And if you need any help with those adjustments, because trust me, losing that ego and that identity of bodybuilder is not an easy one to do, then contact me and perhaps we can work what you do think is important in life together. And whether or not leaving your values, principles and legacy is important, as so too your very genes are. Is your DNA going to continue on this planet, or are you the last of your genes? The millennia of evolution is going to come to a stop with you. Or is it? As always, it's your choice. Talk to you soon.